Hello, my name is Kumkum Gautam and this is my introduction. You can go through it. Now, today we'll start with the porifera. Okay, now porifera is also we call sponges. Now, the porifera is a primitive type of phylum. Why primitive? Because this is only the simplest form of invertebrate that has been found in the environment. So these are primitive in nature and they're multicellular. Now, what does it mean? Means the porifera are made up of number of cells and these cells are performing different functions. But doesn't mean that these cells are assigned or they are arranged in such a way to form any tissues. No, only the cells are present and these cells are performing functions. Now, next is asymmetrical. Asymmetrical is basically means when any sponge, any sponges or any poriferans, if you take, then if you try to cut them into a two equal halves, we are unable to do that. Why? Because the body are asymmetrically organized. So if we are trying to cut the sponges into to the two equal halves by any vertical plane, we are unable to do that. Okay, we cannot do this. But most of the poriferans are asymmetrical in nature, but few like Leucosolenia and the Scypha doesn't belong to this category. Okay. Now they're having a cellular level of organization. Why? Because that's only the cells that has been performing function in the poriferans. Okay. Now most of them are marine. That means poriferans are belong to a aquatic habitat. They can either be present in the marine water or in the fresh water. But most of the time they are present in the marine water. Now there are the few examples of fresh water is like spongilla. This is very important. Spongilla also we called freshwater sponge. Now they are remain attached to the rocks. That means they are sessile in nature. Basically, when any porifera or when any organisms are unable to move from their places, they are unable to move from one place to another place and they are attached to any substratum, then we call them sessile. Okay, while the larval forms in the poriferans are free living, they can move. Okay, now this is the only phylum in the animal kingdom without any nerve cells. So they do not have any brain or any nerve cells. Okay, so this is about, and then we move to the next slide where we're gonna discuss about the general characteristic of porifera. One second, I had to remove this. Yeah, done. Now these poriferans also known as pore bearers. What does it mean? Basically, the poriferans body contain a number of pores on their body. Some of the pores allow water to enter into the body of the sponges, and most of the pores allow the movement of water to the outside. Okay, they're multicellular. I already told you they're aquatic. Okay, they're found in aquatic habitat either in the marine or in the fresh water. Now, the sponges are colonial or solitary. Now, basically, solitary when we called when the sponges or any poriferan organisms they are found individually. They are not found in groups. Okay, so they can either be found in the solitary form or in the colonial form. Now, next is they are asymmetrical. I already told you what does it mean. Now they show a cell aggregate body plan, and next is they show a cellular level of organization also. Now next important thing is diploblastic organisms. Diploblastic organisms are those organisms that contain two layers on their body. Okay, diplo means two. So they have ectoderm or they have endoderm. So both layers are present, but the mesoderm is totally absent here. Now, next important thing is they contain a body cavity which we called spongocoel. Okay, now do not confuse with the spongocoel. Do not confuse spongocoel with the coelom. Why? Because coelom is the cavity or any gut cavity that has been lined by the mesoderm. So if any body cavity that has not been lined by the mesoderm, then we can't call them a true coelom. So spongiocele is the only body cavity if there is no mesoderm is present over here. So we cannot say it is a coelom. No, this is a body cavity that we call spongiocele. Now there are numerous pores on their body. Okay, numerous pores they body contain. They can be incurrent pores. Incurrent pores are those pores by which the water will enter into the sponges. Okay, this is ostia. While the excurrent pores are those pores from which the water will move to the outside. Okay, from their body. So that we called osculum, and this is an ostia. Okay, now next is adults are sessile in nature. Adults are sessile in nature. I already told you. Now the larvae are the free swimming one, so they can easily move, but the adults one cannot easily move. Now next is digestive system. So digestive system occur intracellularly. Now there is a huge difference between the intercellular and the intracellular. Now understand, intercellular means it within the cells. Okay, there's a number of cells are present, and within the cells if digestion has been taken place, then we call it intercellular. But when inside the cells, when the digestion has been taking place inside the cells, then we call it intracellular. Now they are like choanocytes and amoebocytes are responsible for making efficient digestive system. Now next is respiratory system. So I already told you that they do not have such specialized organs or a system through which they can respire or excrete. No, they have nothing. So the respiration of the body has been taking place through the general body surface, same as similarly excretion has been through the general body surface. Okay, the circulatory system and the nervous system is completely absent here. So remember these two things. Now this is okay. I need to remove, reduce its size. Yeah, you can see this is an example of sponge. Now this is a spongiocele. So this is a cavity that I have told you. Spongiocele, it's a cavity. This is a cavity. Now this is a canal through which water will move out. I'll tell about this water canal system in the later slides. So this is a canal, and this is an osculum from which water will move out, while these are the ostia through which water will enter, or they are called as incurrent pores, and these are the words. So asymmetrical, okay, I'm going to tell you about the meaning of the asymmetrical. So if I'll cut this organism into this way, is it gonna divide into two halves? No. If I'll cut it horizontally like this, then also they cannot be divided into two equal halves. That's why I call them asymmetrical. Okay, now move to the next slide. Sorry, this is so disturbing. I need to remove this. Yeah. Now this is reproduction. So in the reproduction in the sponges can occur either asexually or through a sexual mode. Now asexual when the sperm cells are not involved, germ cells are not involved. So asexual reproduction. So they can either occur through the budding, okay, budding, which is externally that has been mostly seen in these sponges, but internal budding can be seen in the spongilla. We call them a freshwater sponge. Okay, and the fragmentation, another mean of asexual reproduction. Next is a formation of reduction bodies. This is very important. Now, this method is also known as gemule formation. Now, what is gemule now? So each gemule, I'm gonna discuss it in about in detail in the later slides. So just wait. So each gemule contains numerous archaeocytes. Now, what is now archaeocytes? So the totipotent cells. Now, the archaeocytes are those cells that show totipotent behavior. Now, what does it mean? So look, if it is a cell, okay, totipotent means it can divide into any type of another cells. No, it can give rise to number of cells. So different type of cells can has been arise from this totipotent cell. So gamete formation occurred through the archaeocytes, and archaeocytes shows a totipotent nature. Now they enclosed into the protective layer of amphidisc, spicules, and monoexons. Now this, see here, I'm gonna, yeah, this is an gamule. Now you can see over here, this is an oval-like structure that is we call a gamule. Now this gamule is having an outer membrane and inner membrane, and inside this inner membrane we have number of archaeocytes. You can see now these archaeocytes are totipotent cell. What is totipotent cell? And this is a micropyle which basically encircle this opening, and this outer membrane contain a number of monoexone spicules. Okay, so this is an gamule. Now we go back to the same slide. Yeah. Now, sponges can also show the sexual reproduction. Sponges are hermaphrodite in nature. Okay, hermaphrodite means both the sexes are present in the same organism. Still, they go for a cross fertilization. Okay, now this term is also important. Usually, the ova is formed first. That's why we call as protogynous condition. Now, what does it mean? Now, protogynous condition are those conditions in which the female ova is forming first. Okay, if so, remember poriferans are show poriferans normally shows protogynous condition, and some of the organisms also show the proto-androus condition. Proto means primitive or first. Androus means sperm cells or the male cells. Protogynous means proto means first, gynous means female ova or female sperm cells, female germ cells. Okay. Now the internal fertilization they show indirect development. Now this is very important. Indirect development, it means development is not direct from the egg, from the cells from the egg directly to the adult. No, the larval stages is present. Now there are two type of larva that is present. First is amphiblastula larva and second is parenchyma larva. This, okay, amphiblastula larva and second is parenchyma larva. Now this amphiblastula larva is found in the cycon or scypha, while the parenchyma larva is found in the leucosolania. Okay, leucosolania. So remember these because these are very important in every exam. They have been asked from many years. Now this is like flagellated larva for the poriferans. Now sponges show high power of regeneration. Why? Because they contain a archaeocyte cells, and those archaeocyte cells are responsible for showing the regenerating power in the sponges. Now this is an gamete. Now we come to the body wall. So I told you that they shows a diploblastic behavior. It means they contain two layers on their body. Now first is ectoderm and second is endoderm. Now this ectoderm is also known as, also we called pinacoderm, that contain a two type of cells. First is pinacocyte and second is porocyte. Porocyte is basically they are responsible for making pores on the body. Now next is endoderm. We also call as choanoderm, CHOAN, choanoderm. Now they contain a number of choanocytes. Now in between these two layers, some jelly-like substances are present. These are not layers. Okay, jelly-like substances are present that we call mesohyl. Okay, now that contains, and this mesohyl contain a number of types of amoebocytes. Okay, they do not have any fixed shape, and that's why they called as amoebocyte. Amoebo, basically, if we're talking about the amoeba are asymmetrical organisms. You cannot define its shape, so that's why they called amoebocytes. Now number of amoebocyte cells are present in the mesohyl, example like archaeocytes. I already told you archaeocytes are responsible for showing high regenerating power in the poriferans, and they show a totipotent nature. Now next is trophocyte. That means they are working as a nurse cells. They are providing nutrition. Now theocyte is basically that require for food storage. Myocytes in the gemmule, I already told you that lining of the cavity, the lining of the opening of the osculum has been lined by the myocytes. Okay, this is yeah, sorry, this is very disturbing. Now, there's a few example, few questions that has been asked in the question that if a food particle is placed at the osculum is the place from where the water will move out. Now, the food is thrown away. Why? Because of water current. Because of the water current, the food has been thrown away. Now, there's a skeleton forming cells are also present in the sponges. They can be a calcoblast, as the name already describing its character. So calcoblast contain a calcium carbonate spicules that is very hard. Now they also next is silicoblast. So silicoblast is containing a silica spicules that is also very hard. Now next is spongioblast that forms a spongin fibers that are very soft in nature. So yeah, this is it for now. I'm gonna tell you some example of sponges or the poriferans so everything will be clear in your mind about poriferans. So this is an Leucosolenia, the example that I have been, that I have explained in the previous slides, Leucosolenia. Now this is in Cycon. Cycon shows a amphiblastula lava or indirect development or the lava. Euplectella, and that is Hyloneema, that is glass rope sponge. Spongilla, that is freshwater sponge, and U sponge is bath sponge. Okay, so thank you for this class. I hope you will like it. If you like this video, please subscribe it. Thank you.